got the cup. This is a big. I do it like all the way up to the brim, and then it keeps it hot. So this is the Yeti. We've talked about it a few times.
The
Um,
Love Shack.
yeah, the Love Shack Yeti.
Is that a coffee spot down there? Love Shack.
No, this is like Marissa got this for me and her for I think it might have been Valentine's Day,
Ah,
first year we started dating. And
oh, nice,
so it says on the back, it says established 2023.
nice.
Right. So
That's cool.
it's what we always drink our coffee out of when we are able to drink it together on like the
Very cool.
weekends and certain days throughout the week. So it's good. But I did have something. So I was thinking this week, I wrote it down. Something that I think people struggle with from time to time. And I know I go through this roller coaster as well, where it's like when you get to that place where you feel like you have shit figured out, right? Like you feel like you have stuff dialed in. Um, it's a great place to be in, but I think it's easy to get complacent, right? And to feel like things never change. And so I'm curious, like, what are your thoughts on this? Like people can do who maybe are susceptible to that, where they do get complacent from time to time. They do feel like, oh, I got shit figured out. Like it's never going to change, right? Like it's always going to be this way. And we should know that always, it does change, right? And we do go through these times where like things aren't as good or they aren't as easy. But what would be your advice there?
I think it's just binary thinking, and I think we have to remind ourselves of the one thing in this life that is constant and consistent is change. And so we have to remind ourselves of that. And it's cool to like kick our feet up, so to speak, when things are going really well. We're like, oh, I got it. I got it figured out. I'm firing on all cylinders. I'm in my groove right now. Life's amazing. And it's not that things can't be that way all the time. That's kind of a different pod that we talked about, right? We just talked about. However, understanding and expecting that things go in ebbs and flows in these lives, in our life. And it's more about the seasons than anything. Like you're going to have the seasons that suck. You're going to have the seasons that are a drag, the more cloudy, the darker seasons. And it's cool because I even find myself doing this. So I'd be curious to know like how your thoughts, but like I find myself sometimes, not being scared, but maybe fearful or like stressed about those times or seasons. And when I start to see glimpses of them, it kind of brings that on even more. Like it feels like this, like a heavier weight on your shoulders, and then like, and I know deep down in my subconscious, like this is temporary, like it's going to be gone. Like stay cool, stay calm, have faith, trust. But yeah, man, I think we'd be ignorant to not anticipate that it does work in seasons. It is going to come in ebbs and flows. That's my thoughts on it. Like the one thing that we have to remind ourselves is change is the one constant thing in life. It's gonna change, good, bad, ugly, and different. We have to expect change to happen.
Yeah. No, I think that's a valid point where it does there are seasons, there are times where you kind of know. I've heard people talk about this. Like they're like, whenever things are good, some bad or some more negative things are on the horizon. And whenever things are like negative or they're not going as well, you know that positive things are on the horizon. But generally speaking, when we're in the good, we feel like this is going to last forever. When we're in the bad, we feel like it's going to last forever. So if you can kind of put yourself into that mindset of just knowing that you can't necessarily always control that. We actually talked about this on the last podcast a little bit, where it's like like those kind of things are kind of outside of your control a little bit, but like how you show up every day and the habits that you have and the things that you keep top of mind throughout the day are within your control, right? And the more that we can focus on getting our workouts in on a consistent basis and going on walks and drinking water and eating healthy and prioritizing sleep and eating a lot of protein, like these things that we talk about, the basics within the day-to-day and within the pod, you're going to set yourself up to have more positive outcomes, and you're going to set yourself up to have more positive time frames, right? But there's also the things that can put us in a negative mindset are things that like we never saw coming. It's like a family member passes away, or you have some very unfortunate things that happen at work or with friends, or whatever it may be that's like so far outside of your control. But if we like, and we can feel those feelings, right? We can feel the emotions and be sad and like do, feel different things throughout the week. But if we stop doing the things that got us there, a lot of things are going through my mind right now. So it's like I keep going and jumping, but it's like we need to stick with the consistent and can stick with the things that are within our control. And like I mentioned on the last pod, like think about the possibilities and visualize a great day and visualize a great life and put yourself in the best frame of mind that you can each day. And you're going to be able to handle those negative things a lot better, right? They're
Mhm.
not going to affect you as much as they would if you're constantly thinking about the negative and constantly harping on what the worst case scenario is and allowing bad days to throw you off of your habits and the things that are going to naturally make you feel better, a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months down the road, because it really is the things that we're doing are going to affect our future selves, right? So it's like when we fall off the wagon and we're not prioritizing our own health and our own fitness, then it might not affect us this week or next, but it's going to affect us, within the next like month, and we're going to feel the wrath, so to speak, of those habits falling off.
Yeah, dude. And it makes me think of like, it's interesting. I was listening to a marketing training, about business, and they were talking about the difference between, and I think this, I'll bring this back, but I think it has correlation to what we're talking about here as far as when you feel or you anticipate that uneasiness of change. I think sometimes in those moments we press, like, so we're like, man, I need to scrap and make something happen, right? It's not going good right now. I need to kind of throw a Hail Mary here, and I need to just like, do everything I possibly can and scrap and grit and grind it out and be more from a press standpoint, right? I'm pressing as hard as I can, just trying to get out of this hole that I'm in, trying to get out of this uncomfortable change that I wasn't anticipating, right? And I feel like we've all been there. At least I have a lot. That's like my initial instinct to want, anytime I feel like a bad or uneasy situation or scenario, um, or change, like we talked about, something that changes, I'm like, oh man, I got to grit and I got to grind through this one, right? Because that's the only way I'm gonna make it out of this new change that happened. But the alternative, I think, is the, instead of pressing, is the pulling, and being able to create a pull towards you. And what I mean by that is like an attractiveness and and that could be attracted to another person. That could be attracting positive energy. That could be attracting like-minded people that you enjoy being around because you're better just by being in their ecosystem. Like, having more of an attractive energy to you, I think, is superior when we feel that uneasiness or change in that happens in life that's inevitable. And so when we get in those situations and scenarios and we feel the change, we're like, I have two options here. I can either press and try to grind my way through this and do things out of like desperation, or I can try to do the inner work and make sure that my mentality and my approach and my actions to my day to day are more in alignment with the person that I want to be, regardless of what's going on outside of me. And if I can commit to that, I think everything else will fall in place. And it's we talked a little bit about faith on the previous one, but I think that attractive energy is far superior than the pressing pessimistic energy that at times can work, and we will like prove to ourselves that it works. Like, you can definitely grit and grind your way through things, but I think it's far superior. I think it's way better from a longevity standpoint to have more of a attractive energy towards you, and it comes from starting with the stuff internally inside. And that's just my thought on it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's amazing. And I think it would be good to end this podcast with would, because I think it comes down to each individual person, right? It's like what things help you feel your best on a daily basis and figuring out what those are, whether they're from a physical standpoint, a food standpoint, liquid standpoint, a mindset standpoint. Like there's going to be a combination of things that are going to be the formula for you. And it's going to be ever changing. right? Like I know you probably go through this too. Like there's certain things that you do for a while and then you just like, it's not doing much for me. And then we recycle in and we change up things, and it's the seasons of life, right? There's just like different seasons, different things are going to work for us, a different formula. What are some things for you that you do on a daily basis that help put you in the best frame of mind, that help you feel your best so that you can better handle these, let's say harder seasons when they do come up?
Mm. I feel one thing that helps me, for you and I've talked about it before, is being grateful, right? The gratitude thing, absolutely, and start my day with that. But I think another thing that helps as well is making sure that um, I'm choosing to read at some point during the day. I think reading puts me at ease. It allows me to kind of turn my brain off from me having to do all the thinking, and I can just kind of absorb and be guided. And it all comes down to choosing a book that you like, you feel good about, you confident, and like you want to learn more about it. It's a way it's very similar to like fitness, but I guess in a less intense way, in a different way. So instead of more of the physical side of things, this is more of like the mental side of things that I do, is like, if I can read a good book, a quality book that I care about, that I want to know more about, that I'm interested in, that I can dive in, it allows me to let go of all the other thoughts that I was thinking about. And it kind of recalibrates my brain, if you know, so to speak. And so when I can do that, I'm like, I can anticipate learning something from this, even if small, or I can easily be reminded. Maybe it's not a new lesson. Maybe it's something that I needed to be reminded of. And when I can do that and I can step away from the book and be like, yeah, cool. Now I can focus on that versus all the thoughts that were going through my head from a change that I'm worried or stressed about. It's like it allows me to kind of reset, man. That's one big thing for me, is like reading, and reading something that I actually enjoy. And so um I'm reading I can't remember the name of the book right now, but it's by John Berardi, the guy that Nutrition, his
Oh, yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got just such great insights in there. He's obviously been around the block a few times, and he's just like sharing super relatable instances for people who in my position. It's cool to hear like other people in those shoes that have been there, done that, and then are giving specifics on how to kind of walk you through that process. And so like that's the thing that helps ground me right now, is like, let me dive into John's book here. Let me read a little golden nugget here that I could take with me for the rest of the day, and put my mind in a different place. And so yeah, that's what works for me, man. What about you? Like, what are some things that work for you? And there's a lot of things, but that's just the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah. No, I mean, I talked about a lot of it, I think, on the last podcast, where my morning is get up, and sometimes I'll do gratitude in bed. It kind of depends on the day. But recently I've been going on a walk and I'll do gratitude there. I'll just kind of flood myself with gratitude for different things, small, big. I'll think about all the amazing possibilities that exist for the day, within my job, within my life, within my relationship and relationships. I will think about my motto of just having faith, right? That everything's going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. And then I'll review my goals, right? I'll review my like things that I like to keep top of mind, like the phrases and stuff that I want to keep top of mind. I'll review my goals. I'll review kind of my intentions for a day. And that's just how I like to start it out. It puts me in a good mindset, makes me feel good. And I do that a few times throughout the day. Like I try to do that, each of those things twice throughout the day, minus the gratitude, but that's kind of within that anyway. And then it's just like the health and fitness things of I try to work out every day in some capacity, right? I'm doing some sort of type of workout to move. I get a walk in every day, and I just try to like eat quality foods for the most part, like 70, 75%, 70 to 80% of my foods coming from quality sources. Those are kind of like the main like mental and then physical things that I am doing on a daily basis to help myself feel the best. So it is basic, but it is and it really doesn't take that much time either, which is, but a lot of times it can feel like it takes so much more time, right? It feels before we do the things like it's, oh, this again, right? It's like, oh, this again, this is going to take forever. But that morning thing on the walk, it's at the start of my walk. So I'm already walking. I might as well do it, right? I'm going to walk for probably 30 to 45 minutes. And so it takes me 5 minutes on the walk, right? And then my workouts, maybe one day it's 10 minutes, another day it's 30 minutes. Like it depends on how much time I have, but I'm doing it every day. And I try to start out my morning with a great breakfast after the workout, and something that's going to set me up for the day. And it's those things. The more consistent I am with those things, the better I feel. The more open I am, the better energy that I have, and I just like feel like I show up better in every aspect of my life.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And then, like, it doesn't have to be like super complicated stuff. As a matter of fact, the best stuff is the most simple stuff. Like you said, you have gotten good at being able to repeat the things that are part of your routine that serve you when you actually apply them consistently over time. And so it's really cool to see that we don't have to overcomplicate it. I think I find myself in those shoes oftentimes of trying to overcomplicate it. And oftentimes the simpler the thing is, the more challenging sometimes we make it, because we're, like you said, it's this huge daunting task that we feel like it's this hurdle to even get started. But then once we get started and we have the mindset or approach of like, let's move in mud, it's going to be tough, but let me just start moving. And before we know it, we're like, oh, it wasn't as hard as I was anticipating. It's actually beneficial for me and I enjoy it. I'm in my groove now. I'm in my rhythm. So I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for all of us to be able to take some messages that we talked about today, to apply them. We always ask that you guys share it with a friend, family member, somebody like, love. Introduce them to the pod if you feel like they could get some benefit from it, or if you just flat out enjoy it and you want people to join in with you and listen or watch. And so we're on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. We're going to go into a pattern of posting 2 times a week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're traditionally that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to switch it up for a little bit, go Tuesday, Thursdays. And so if you guys enjoy it, continue to spread the message, and we will see you guys on the next one.